In this lesson, we are going to look at reduction formula again, continuing from the previous lesson. So in this case, we are going to look at cofunctions as well as negative angles. You will recall from grade 10 that if we've got a triangle like this, we can work out sine 20 in this triangle. So sine 20 will be equal to y value over r value, so y over r, and then cos of 20 degrees will be equal to x over r, so it's x over r. However, if I were to write cos of 70 degrees, I will get something. Cos of 70 degrees is y over r, is y over r there. And then what about sine of 70 degrees? And sine of 70 degrees will be x over r. The answer is x over r. Now we can see that sine 20 is same as cos of 70. Sine of 20 degrees is equal to cos of 70 degrees. Also, we can see that cos of 20 degrees is give you the same value as a sine of 70 degrees. Now, therefore, we call these trig ratios cofunctions. So these are called cofunctions. So similarly, we could have changed this angle and said this was 30 degrees and that is 60 degrees. We'll get the same thing. So the cofunction of sine ratio is equal to the cos of 90 degrees minus the angle of the trig ratio on this side. Okay, let's look at how we can also extend this to our grade 11 mathematics. So we go back to what we're used to, which we did in the previous lesson. It was like this, but it had 180 degrees minus, 180 plus an angle, and 360 minus angle. In this case, we are going to use cofunctions. They are dealing 90 degrees and 270 degrees. That's where we will use cofunctions. Let's see how we will do those problems. Let's say they say reduce this. So cos of 90 plus a. Where is this angle again? Here. How is cos in this area? Cos is negative because sine is positive. So therefore our answer will be a negative. But because it's 90, we'll write down the cofunction of cos, which is a sine then of an angle. Let's take this one. Sine of 270 plus a. Which quadrant is this? We are there. So how is sine there? It is negative. So my answer will be a negative. Because I'm dealing with 270, I'll write the cofunction of sine, which is cos then of an angle a there. What about cos of 270 minus a? We are here. How is cos in that? It is negative. So my answer is negative. But because this is 270, I'll write the cofunction of cos, which is a sine of an angle a. Let's look at another thing that we may need here. So we may need, again, the negative angles and large angles. Now let's say we've got to simplify sine of a negative angle a. Now what do we do? If an angle is negative or if an angle is small, just add the 360 degrees and then proceed. Let's check here. So because the angle is small, so I'll put 360 degrees here. So this is sine of, then I put 360 degrees, then minus an a, because it's minus a there. Now it's back to what we did in the previous lesson. We have got 360 degrees. In 360 degrees, we don't change to cofunction, remember. So therefore this will be, in which quadrant is this? Is this quadrant there? How is sine? How is sine in that quadrant? Sine is negative. So my answer is negative sine of a. Now this angle is small because that's an acute angle minus a very big angle. So what do? We put 360. So this will be equal to cos. Now put 360 degrees, 60 degrees, then minus a plus a. There is a plus a there, and then a minus 270 degrees. Now that and that are like terms, so I'll put them together. So it becomes 360 minus 270. That is 90 degrees, then plus a. Now this thing looks like that. So cos. How is cos in that quadrant? Cos is negative because sine is positive. So my answer is going to be to a negative. But because I'm dealing with 90 degrees, so I write the cofunction of cos, which is a sine then a. Now let's look at this one here. So this angle is very big, so what we do, we subtract. So if the angle is big, just subtract 360. So therefore I'll have sine of 450 degrees. I must subtract 360 degrees, then plus an A. So now we'll have to simplify those like terms. So sine of, what is 450 minus 360? That is 90 degrees, then plus A. So this is same as that one. So we're in that quadrant. How is sine in that quadrant? Sine is positive, so therefore my answer is going to be positive. But because I'm dealing with 90, so I'll say cos. I use cofunction of A. So the cofunction of sine is cos, the cofunction of cos is negative. Now let's look at the next example that we may get in the exam or test. Okay, so let's look at this one here. So they say here cos of a negative angle. So what do you do if you've got a negative angle? We'll put 360, and this one is big, we'll subtract 360, and this one is fine, but this one is small, so we'll do things. Now draw the division line. There is my division line there. So equals, so this will be a cos. We said we'll put a 360 there, so 360 degrees minus theta, then multiplied by, we'll subtract 360 there, so this is sine of 540 degrees, subtract 360 degrees, then plus theta. So this we said is fine, so this is cos of 270 degrees minus theta times cos. We said this angle is small, so we put 360, so this is 360 degrees, then plus theta, then minus 360 degrees. So which is equals to, let's put a division line there and simplify. So what do you get? This quadrant, which quadrant is this? Is this one. How is cos there? Is positive, so my answer is positive, a cos of theta. Remember, don't use cofunctions in this, only this one cofunction. So this is multiplying by, so I've got to simplify this. Oh, this is sine of, what is 540 minus 360? That is 180, so I've got 180 degrees, then plus theta. So what is this? Cos 270 minus theta, so we're here. So how is cos here? How is cos in this? Is negative, so my answer is negative. But because I'm dealing with 270, which is here, 270 change to cofunction. Cofunction of course is a sine, so sine theta multiplied by, let's simplify those like terms. So I've got cos of, now 360 minus 360 is nothing, plus theta, so it cos theta like that. Now we've got to simplify that obviously, because we can see now I've got cos of theta multiplied by, which quadrant is this? Is that. How is sine in that quadrant? Is negative, so my answer is negative. Because I'm dealing 1/8 in that area, we don't change to cofunction, so it's negative tan theta. So that is being divided by this thing here, which is minus sine of theta multiplied by a cos of theta. Now this cos theta goes once, that cos theta goes once, negative sine theta goes once, negative sine theta goes once, and what is my answer? So 1 times 1 divided by 1 times 1, the answer is 1. Let's look at another example, the last one. What about this one? Now these are not written like this, so I've got to write them like that. So this one here is 190. 190 is in this quadrant, so I will write it as tan of 180 degrees plus 10 degrees, because when I add this I'll get that, multiplied by, now we said when the angle is negative put 360 degrees, so this is cos of 360 degrees minus 10 degrees, then this is 380 degrees, which is in that quadrant, so I will write it as sine of 360 degrees minus 30 degrees. I use the angle over there because here, so then times 100 degrees. 100 degrees is here, so I'll say 180 minus something, so this is cos of 180 degrees minus, what is that? Is minus 80 degrees. 180 minus 80 is 100 degrees. Now this looks like that, so therefore now which quadrant is this? That quadrant. How is 10 in that quadrant? Is positive, so my answer is positive, 10 of 10 degrees multiplied by this one here. Which quadrant is this one? So how is cos in that quadrant is positive. So my answer is a cos of an acute angle, which is 10 degrees. And this one here is that quadrant over there. So the answer will be, how is sine in that quadrant is negative. So the answer is negative sine of 30 degrees. Let's put in bracket, multiplied by. Let's look at this one here. So I've got here, which quadrant is this? Is that one here. So how is cos in that quadrant? It is negative. So the answer is negative cos of 80 degrees over there. So now when you look at this, these things don't cancel, nothing cancels, but there is a special angle. We know about this one, and the triangle that looks like this one here. Triangle that looks like this. There's 60 degrees, there's 30 degrees, and then there's 1, there's 2, there's square root of 3. So we know we can get there. But there's something that we know about 10. 10 can be written as sine of an angle over cos of an angle. Let's write that. So this is same as sine of 10 degrees divided by cos of 10 degrees, which is now multiplied by the cos of 10 degrees over 1, because that's over 1 there. I'm trying to rely with that. And now this one here is minus. Now sine of 30 degrees is 1 over 2. So it's 1 over 2 there. I put a bracket there. So it's multiplied by. There is a negative and negative there. Cos of 80, there's nothing can do. So this is cos of 80 degrees. Okay, so obviously when I'm multiplying this and this, I would get a positive answer. Now you can see over there that the 10 cos of 10 degrees cancel the other cos of 10 degrees once there. So which means that on the numerator I'm left with sine of 10 degrees. Can I write that? Sine of 10 degrees. And at the bottom I'm left with a negative term. Negative is set is positive, and then it's half multiplied by a cos of 80 degrees. Now remember from the previous example, we said that when we in our introduction, we said sine of this angle here, if those angles, sine of 20 degrees is same as cos of 70 degrees. If you check these angles here, when we add them, they give you 90 degrees. So sine of 20 will be same as cos of 70 degrees. Therefore, if I add these two, I get the same answer. That's 90 degrees. I add them, so therefore sine of 10 is same as cos of 80 degrees, which means that we can cancel this one, goes once, because they are the same thing. So the answer that I'm left with is 1 on top, which is divided by half. And what is our final answer? How many halves in 1? There are 2. So the answer is a 2. Now for you to try, I'd like you to try some of the examples on your own textbook, and then here are the examples that you're going to try from Siavula chapter 6, 6.3, which is reduction formulae, exercise 6.4 number 2 and 3, A, B, C, exercise 6.5 number 1, A and B. Hayi ngisasebenza uyakhuluma.